Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Concussion Sub Waadaplaya. It has been a really long time we did a podcast, but we thought we will come back with a bang. Today's special. We are not just talking cricket, we are going to relive a moment that changed an entire nation. This is about the incredible 1996 Cricket World Cup, which is Sri Lanka national team is celebrating their 30th anniversary. They just didn't win the tournament, they redefined the entire belief. And I've got someone with me who just didn't watch it but felt every moment. Let's welcome Indoosan back on our podcast. Brother, firstly, how are you doing? How was your 2026 World Cup experience? And we have a lot to speak today.
First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to talk about it, and it's a great pleasure to join you guys and just have a chat again. 2026 World Cup, it was like going well until the final, and then the crash landing happened. So it was a very good World Cup, to be honest, very close to my heart because I met so many friends, flew down to Sri Lanka, and I went and saw India versus Pakistan match, and you guys were helping me to sort out the ticket as well. Thank you so much for it. And then a New Zealand team traveled to Sri Lanka to play here. So normally they don't give very smooth schedule for New Zealand. I have to chase New Zealand team literally, but this time all three matches were in Colombo, and so many lovely experience. There was a washout, there was everything. And in the middle that I was shown on TV for the very first time. So much things about this World Cup. I loved it, even though my team didn't win it, but it's okay.
Great. And let's clarify for the audience, just in case they are wondering, Hindustan is wearing Sri Lanka jersey. He's saying he's disappointed in the finals that his team didn't win. He's a New Zealand supporter as well, just so that people know.
Yeah, so I identify like he put concussion substitute. I am a Lankan Kiwi, so you can see the Lankan side.
All right, let's jump in. So, yeah, 2026, speaking of World Cup, Hindustan, let's start with a simple question on the 1996. Where were you when the Sri Lanka team lifted that trophy 30 years ago? Do you have recollection?
Yeah, I have a whole recollection because in a World Cup the team travels to different places, and during the World Cup I did travel as well. So for the viewers, I was born in northern part of Sri Lanka. It's called as Jaffna, and there was war happening in 1995. Latter part I need to get displaced. So during the World Cup was happening, and I was in different places. So the first preliminary rounds of the World Cup, I was literally listening in radio. So my uncles used to, for the people who don't understand, during the war time, there was no electricity in Jaffna or northern part of the Sri Lanka. So my uncles used to put a bicycle and make a bicycle dynamo and get current out of that and listen to this commentary. So as kids, we were not allowed to ride bicycle on road. Because it was not the roads were also not safe back then because so many people go and come. So I get the chance to get into the bicycle and ride it, because that somebody need to pedal it to generate current. So I used to do that with my uncles. So many lovely memories. And I heard these names: Tendulkar, Sanajay, Surya, Shane Warne, everything over the something. And I had an image on them. And papers also back then very limited because of this printing restrictions, and you get a stamp size picture, and sometimes the stamp size picture will never be a portrait of a player. It's a shot or something. Like you see Sanat Jayasuriya this side, Sachin Tendulkar this size, you can't really know who they are, right? And then when this second rounds and the knockouts happened, I entered the area where the government was controlling. So we were in some rented places. So most of the places were like known to my father. He had some connection with them. I was watching these matches on TV, and I don't know the first match I watched, whether it was Sri Lanka versus India, Sri Lanka, or Sri Lanka versus England, or don't know whether it's a highlights or a real match. I don't know. But my uncle was explaining me the concept of World Cup. He said World Cup, everybody around the world come to play for it. This is not like something. And then you see Sanat Jayasuriya playing precisely like this backyard cricket. Then you kind of like, fell in love with that. Dark blue is my favorite color. So Sri Lanka was doing good as well. But I vividly remember the semi-final and the final. I watched it in Colombo, where I mean, my extended family was in Colombo. So we were here. And all I remember, the crackers were going on. And I have no clue about it because the semi-final, people started throwing stuff at Sri Lankan cricket team, and people are just walking off the field. I don't know because there is no match, no kind of like, proper ending to the match. But all of a sudden, the crackers are going now. I was like, why do people celebrate crackers when the match was like, not happening? And then my uncles were explaining me, look, Sri Lanka won it and Sri Lanka going for the final to the Australia and everything. So, I mean, you as a kid, like, okay, they are going, they are winning, I'm happy. Yeah, all these things happen. And in the World Cup final, when Sanat Jayasuriya got out, like in the semi, you have this disbelief, right? So back then, Aravinda was less known for me. I'm talking about, I'm a 6, 7 year old kid and seeing cricket for the very first time. But then my grandfather was telling me, no, this guy is more talented than Sanat Jayasuriya. Until he gets out, we have a chance. You should technically worry when he gets out. But Aravinda didn't get out in the final. He was going on and on and on and on. And then finally we won. Again, the crackers were going on. There was holiday. Entire Colombo was celebrating. It's a party mode. Back then, the war was going on the northern part of Sri Lanka. I think the for the final, the war also was. There was a brief period about ceasefire because LTT promised that they won't attack any team which is coming to Sri Lanka. So these kind of things, like, vague memories. These are the things that, my family speaks. Sometimes I read it in paper. I started reading paper, by word. Most of the words I don't understand, very complex. So it was a very happy time. And there was power cut in Sri Lanka also back then because we had a severe drought and stuff. Because back then Sri Lanka was like, hydropower, electricity reliant country. So I would say it's a journey itself, for me to sit back and do that. Pretty much like a war minus shooting, the book, because it was telling about how the journey just happened, because I happened to read that a little late. But like it's a fantastic atmosphere. But I used to see this uniform type of kids, and the people come and playing. It's all very, very, very nice memories.
Sri Lanka's road to finals started with Zimbabwe, a comprehensive win. Delhi, Sri Lanka was playing India. Tendulkar was in top form. He scored 100, and I think 270 odd, if my memory is right. And I think we were all set. We were all set to feel that India is going to win. And then Jayasuriya and Kalu completely decimated Manoj Prabhakar, and I think that's where I felt that Lanka are onto something. Can you talk about Jayasuriya and Kaluvitarna opening partnership? Like now we say that power play in T20 is bang bang bang, but in 1996, going that, like, what prompted Kalu and Jayasuriya to take that approach?
So, I mean, I had a dig deep about this with my friend who is also a cricket geek, and he was helping Lasit Malinga writing his book as well. So, apparently, what has happened was Sri Lankan team was in a good shape coming to this World Cup. They had a like multinational tournament win in Sharjah. Then they went to Australia, and everything was like, even in Australia, they had some good time. But suddenly, I think Arjuna wanted to experiment something. Sanat Jayasuriya and Kalu were like, Sanat Jayasuriya was literally a low order batter. So he was trying, like, why can't we try this pinch hitting? And he promoted him. It worked well. And they came to the World Cup with the same strategy. And many teams didn't plan for it. This is something came out of the blue, and then they started winning matches. I think they had an excellent start of the tournament. They literally massacred Kenya in this is relatively a very small ground in Asgiria in Kendi. People say, like, that's a very, very small ground. But still, 398. They posted a world record back then. It was a world record until 2003 when South Africa broke it. And then from that point, they went on to, I think, which, as you correctly said, the match in India, chasing against India and winning that that's a massive moment, because back then India was a big team. We have to accept the truth. Sri Lanka was literally an underdog. And except Richard Hardley, no one gave him a chance in this World Cup. He was also telling that Sri Lanka will be a dark horses. He was not rating them as a winner. So this is technically, it's people said it's going to be an India's World Cup because Tendulkar was the prime Tendulkar. This is like, I think many of us know Tendulkar before Dennis Elbow is a beast, right? I won't say like no Abhishek Sharma, no Ishan Kishan, no Travis Head. No one will come close to that Tendulkar, that Desert Storm and stuff. So after chasing 275, they won, and then that gave them a lot of self-belief. Perhaps India was one of the very strongest team for them in the World Cup. I think Sri Lanka didn't face Pakistan, but Pakistan also was a very strong team in terms of their bowling contingent was like very, very strong. But I would say it was like Sri Lanka and India and Australia were their biggest threats if you are to win it. And I think beating India in the league game would have given them so many like positives to take and so much confidence to face them in the semi-final. So it was fantastic. And I have to tell you one funny thing. As a kid, I used to watch Sanat Jayasuriya and Kalu hammering, right? And sometimes, out of the blue, they send. This is like post Guru Singh's retirement. They send Ashanti Lakaratna or Roshan Mahanama as number one. Arjuna tries these kind of different strategies. I used to say, why did they send them? Because now they don't hit. They will block and take singles and everything, right? My grandmother used to say, now see, Sanath has hit very well. There must be so much EV on Sri Lanka, so we need to get rid of it. They have to go for a big score. That's why he's been sent there. So these kind of things as a kid, you kind of enjoyed, like watching Sanat Jayasuriya and Kalu play.
Yeah, it is amazing, man. I mean, look, from the excitement of Kalu and Sanat Jayasuriya as a neutral fan was outstanding. Of course, as an India fan, it was a heartbreak. Everybody knows why. Sri Lanka had Kenya, which again was a comprehensive win. And then the unfortunate situation which you covered about due to the war, Australia and West Indies decided to forfeit the games because the games were happening in Lanka. And Lanka got points. That gave additional motivation, I would think, or do you feel that Lanka before that forfeiting game also give me the thought process and mindset Lanka had before the forfeiting?
Sri Lanka, Australia started with their calling Muraliya Chaka in 1995, December in Melbourne. And then they call him again chucking in a one-day match where the Sri Lanka was wearing this blue and green striped jersey. So what has happened was Australia has become a villain for Sri Lanka even before start of the World Cup. And then it was the incident went to an extent that two foreign ministers have to interfere. The Shane Warne said, I might be bombed when I'm going for shopping. Our foreign minister back then, a guy who was educated in Oxford and Cambridge, just said shopping is for sissies, right? So that created a lot of rift, and the Australian foreign minister have to interfere it and all. So then when Australia was refusing to travel, ICC was even promising them a solution. They will be stationed in Madras. Chennai was Madras back then. They will be flown the early morning of the match day. They will just sit in the ground. They practice, they play everything. And once the match is finished, they will be again airlifted back to Madras because India was safe back then. Australia refused that as well. So this created a lot of kind of animosity against the team, and even papers were writing as if like Australia is scared of us, about the South Asian mentality, right? We never wanted to like be we all were intimidated by Australia in 90s. And then Arjuna went to a state and say like, okay, you don't want to travel to Sri Lanka, I want you to come to the final. So, mind you, in 90s, Australia is like India now. We don't want them to be in the final. If we can avoid them at any cost, we will avoid them. And someone went and said, like, look, this as I want you to be on the final. That worked negatively on Australia because they said they were like even Arjuna involved in few sledgings, very very bad sledging with Australia in during that tri series with West Indies in Australia, that 95-96 time. And some of those things were even written on Ian Healy's biography because some of the comments made Arjuna like made Shane want to go pale, and he told that I really see Shane Warne goes pale. So one funny thing was like back then in our team, only Roshan Mahanama knew sophisticated English. So Australians used to sledge them, and these guys go and ask the meaning from Roshan Mahanama and feel worry in the dressing room. Arjuna said, if anybody worries about sledging, I'm going to scold you in Sinhala, right? Because that will be 100% worse than what Australia does. So our boys started like even a very little English what they know, they started giving back to Australia. So this is what happened. And that's what Arjuna also wanted things to be. And then when he said like, okay, let me see you in the final, it just kind of lifted the whole morale of the country, whole morale of the team. They said, okay, now we are to play very well. We need to reach final, and so that we can teach Australia a lesson. So that was the thing which worked on their mind. And one funny incident, Arjuna told it in an interview. You would have seen it. Just one day before the World Cup, Shane Warne was he was Tony Greek and Arjuna was having something, and Shane Warne came and like spoke about, but what's that Pat Baga told to you, and then when he heard that, he said, okay, now they are thinking about me. And Australian breakfast table was like so silent, and everybody was so serious about what do they really do. In contrast, he has seen it, Sri Lankan team was busy buying blankets right in the Karachi the Lahore hotel lobby. He was furious about them because Australians are like so. Then he thought for a while, no, my boys are so relaxed. They are not worried about final. They are worried about negotiating or bargaining for blankets. Why should I have to put pressure on them? Let them be like that. And he was like so cool about it. He only went to Arjuna's Aravinda because those days the cricketers used to share rooms. So Arjuna and Aravinda used to share the room because Aravinda is like, he's a Zen type of guy. He doesn't want anybody to talk to him. He visualizes the, shadow batting, and even inside the hotel room, he do shadow batting and all. So he don't want anybody to come and disturb him. So Arjuna shares the room with him. He went and he just really spoke to him saying like, we are here, so we are to win this match. And Aravinda said, I am all ready to give you whatever. So this was the backstory how Sri Lanka became this thing, which I read in multiple sources.
Excellent, man. That story of blankets is fantastic. Yes, I've read about it and it is hilarious. And again, hindsight is being genius, but Arjuna's leadership about letting the players be completely relaxed, now looking back, is a master stroke, right?
Absolutely. Because without him, we won't be having a strong Sri Lankan team.
1996 World Cup is incomplete without spending a few minutes about Aravinda, and we have a bunch of more stuff to talk. But the Mad Max, as they call him, semi-final player of the match, finals player of the match, and I think he became the first player to score 103 wickets in a World Cup match in a final. Let's talk about a different side of it. In the entire squad, who would you think is your unsung hero for the 1996 World Cup outside of Kalu, Jai, Surya, Ranatunga, and Aravinda?
I would say like two. One is Roshan Mahanama because he was actually having cramps and fatigues in Kolkata, but he didn't give up. He actually anchored the innings and brought Sri Lanka to 250 win. A total that you can play something with. So there is a funny story that twice Arjuna sent a message for him to retire hurt and come back, and he refused because he was having so much cramps, and I think he got a half century in that match. That's the proper half century he got it in the World Cup. So that's the area. That's precisely the very first time Sri Lankan middle order was properly tested, and they responded very well because in a World Cup where your top order kind of like scoring bulk of the runs, and in the most crucial time your top order has been dismissed and you have been exposed. So Roshan Mahanama is an unsung hero, and this is a very funny story. He received twice the message, come retire her. He refused. No, I'm not coming. I'm not coming. I want to stay here and play. And that like Arjuna sent Sanat Jayasuriya and someone, I think Kumar Dharmasen or someone like carry that bugger out, carry him out. I want, and then he was so sad, and Arjuna said, "We are going to final. I want you to play the final. Come out." And then he actually came. And the other one, I would say, Guru Singh, even though he also had a very quiet, because in Zimbabwe he scored, Kenya he scored, but then he had a very quiet tournament. He was like flying under the radar of the openers. But in final, when it mattered, he gave Aravinda a small window to settle in, for Aravinda to assess what is happening in the ground, and he started hammering Shane Warne left, right, and center, and that put a lot of pressure on Australia. And then Aravinda also started firing. It just they didn't have any answer. I would say like Guru Singh and Roshan Mahanama, the unsung heroes, they were hardly talked about. Even Hashan had a very good innings in the Indian game after the openers got out in the league match in Delhi. There was a mini collapse, but Hashan Tilagaratne and Roshan Mahanama kind of steadied the ship. But they had plenty of runs to work with, they had plenty of balls to work with, but still they made sure that the match was won. So I think these two will be my unsung heroes.
Yeah, I remember the Mahanama innings very well because it was a heartbreak for Indian fans. And Guru Singha, to put things in perspective, why his contributions were crucial and why he's an unsung hero. He had a 125 run partnership in finals with Aravinda, as you rightly mentioned, and he scored 65 of those 121. I know Aravinda got the player of the series because of his 107, but that 65 was crucial. And secondly, you also touched upon briefly, Shane Warne also had a weakness during that time. Is he would struggle with left-handers, and I think Asanka Guru Singh are playing that innings to give that strike to Aravinda and negating Warne. And you could see the face. I mean, Damien Fleming, Glenn McGrath, Shane Warne. This was world-class bowlers, and negating
Sure.
them. We could see the faces of Australians, that frustrations, hands on the hips, hand on the head. Like, outstanding. I think you are giving good kudos to Guru Singha, but what do you think of the Australian setup and the reactions of Australia in the final?
Perhaps they didn't expect Sri Lanka to be this strong mentally, because they thought like because the Murali's incident kind of united the entire Sri Lankan cricket team and the country as well. They wanted to back the boys. They said like because we felt like Sri Lankans been bullied, right, for something which like even after Murali is being tested and he's willing to test, and he was not bowling leg spin, and so many things that he gave up to prove his innocence. But Australians like started coming back after him, and Shane Warne and the Australian team like Mark Taylor or anyone really, because they believe that they are here to win another World Cup, because everywhere you go that's their mentality, and they have won it in 1987 in India, so they believe that subcontinent won't be a problem to them. And until even they had a very good semi-final game. Almost the game was it was a West Indies game to lose, and West Indies actually lost it in Mohali. So they came with a lot of belief, and they couldn't. And Arjuna surprised them. Even Imran Khan wanted him to bat first because that until then, it's like whoever has good runs on the board had the edge on defending the final. So it was a very crucial moment for them. Arjuna surprised them with sledging back to them, and he just gave them some tough stuff which to work with and stuff. So then they took the pressure on themselves. It was like they need to win this at any cost. So they came very hard at Sri Lanka, and that's also again they removed Jayasuriya and Kalu. So they felt like okay, they drew the blood. They said okay, I can see something coming, and then they never expected this counter attack, especially from Guru Singh. And people know that after Guru Singh migrated to Australia, Shenwon even tried his level best to give him Australian citizenship to see whether he can play certain first class or something because he wanted Guru Singh to be part of that setup for some time. But it didn't work because the legal framework didn't allow him. So, but Guru Singh played for some first class, some clubs and all that. So that shows the impact that Guru Singh had on him. And because when you go very hard, when you go very hard at your opponent, and by and large, Sri Lanka was a tiny country, and we didn't have the resources back then. Not heard of. It's not India or West Indies or someone who has like already won the World Cup or high flying in the international arena. It's just a very tiny country with many of them are like semi-professional cricketers. They were working in banks and they were working in private companies because that's how they earned their salary. Cricket was like not profitable until 1996. And when a country come and like just stand and neck to neck with you, I don't think their egos didn't allow it to come.
Yep, fascinating. I mean, kudos to Guru Singh. I mean, look, one other point, Indoosan, I think Jayasuriya was the player of the series, obviously, and in the quarterfinal that Berserk 96 versus England, he had his fair share. But I think your bowling setup in 1996 was also fantastic. Chaminda was Muralidhar and Pramodaya Vikramasinghe, Dharmasena. So, who played a crucial role in the bowling setup, according to you?
I would say it's again what I would say Arjuna was really blessed because he had Aravinda and Sanajay Surya one proper off spinner, one proper leg spinner in his team. So it's like you are having two cricketers, right? Instead of 11, he had I think 13 at that time. They are like very street smart cricketers. They study the batters and they come and they give very crucial break. I think initially the wicket Sri Lanka got wickets, but it's actually Aravinda who broke the back of the middle order. So I would say even though he is not a proper spinner or someone like who was Murali was not a match winner back then. He just came into the scene. He was mystery, but Murali became a post World Cup, the 90s and the early 2000s, where his career took off, especially with the invention of Dusra. That's when he became ruthless and the batters are clueless against. But back then, I would say Aravinda did a crucial breakthrough. I think he got Ricky Ponting, Ian Healy. So it's not that easy to take their wickets, and especially on a good batting surface. I have to give it to Aravinda. I'm sorry, other bowlers or their fans might not be happy, but I have to give it to Aravinda.
Fast forward now, 2026. Obviously, the dynamics are quite different in Sri Lanka cricket compared to 1996. Unfortunately, disappointing 2026 T20 campaign, and there is 2027 50 over World Cup coming up. So, if you were Sri Lanka Cricket Board president, what are three things you will do to get Lanka cricket back into the competitive spirit? Well, yeah, give me three things if you were the president of Sri Lankan Cricket Board.
I would rather imagine myself as the president of the country. There is a possibility I can run the election and win. With the current setup, Sri Lanka cricket president becoming a Sri Lanka cricket president is very, very difficult. But I would say first thing I will bring the fitness standard back. There is no second talk about it. No second talk about it. Because even if you see that what I'm really saying is associate players or especially American cricket team, just see that they are all semi-professional cricketers. They are in H1B1 visa in America. But how fit they look. They look very, very much like Virat Kohli. Because in the modern day cricket, Virat Kohli is like an epitome of this fitness and um, stuff. I would bring fitness standard back, and they have done a good job by like recruiting someone from Gary Kirsten. And I would go and tell my coach and coaching staff, I'll back you 100%. Play a brand of cricket. So what has happened was in 1996, we played a brand of cricket which is like higher than the normal cricket world. Now we the other way. Cricket world is up and we are playing a substandard brand because you in that New Zealand semi-final 5 overs, 6 overs, 20 for 2 wicket or 20 for 3 wickets. This is not how you play a T20 cricket, right? Play well. So I would go and back to the coach and the team captain. I will call them and say like use data, plan properly, play good cricket. I will make sure that you will be immune to all these noises around you. This media and people were really doing. And there were a set of people who were appreciating Sanat Jayasuriya for everything, but I am not really happy with everything what he has done. He didn't he was not really sure about the fitness standards. Some of the cricketers look embarrassingly unfit. I'm sorry about it. This is no body shaming. You are playing a professional cricket. You have been contracted. You need to look in a certain way. And people always bring Aravinda and Arjuna, but I have never seen them getting injured or going out. Only time I saw Arjuna was not playing because he had an issue with an umpire and ICC banned him for like 3-4 matches. Other than that, he was playing. So that's a different story, and that was like 30 years back. Cricket is really little different. And I will invest more on data, decision making, hiring them some technical coaches, and keep their mental morale up. Because this is almost the team which had this crash out campaign in 2026, won an Asia Cup in 2024 with less experience. And that too, like playing against India, Pakistan, and Afghanistan, very strong teams. And that's the same team which almost in the verge of qualifying for the 2022 World Cup semi-final. Then Nisanka dropped Glenn Phillips in that crucial match against New Zealand, and Glenn went on to score 100, and Sri Lanka was actually kicked out. So this team does have talent, but only thing is their attitude and mindset. These are the problems that they are dealing with. And obviously, I will have a captaincy change. I will bring Asalanka back because Asalanka is a good captain when compared to Dasun Shanaka in the recent times. Dasun Shanaka was a good captain, but not anymore. So these are the changes that I will do to make them go ahead.
Okay, fair enough. Um, and then from a current Sri Lankan setup, Pathum Nisanka is outstanding. I mean, he's fantastic. Who are the future Lankan stars we should look out for? Like, who are these unknown cricketers who are brewing from the domestic cricket? You would want to call out, like, give me two
There's
names,
one. So one guy I would say is Vishan Halambage. I think he got Rajasthan Royals contract. He's been there for them. They bought him in the base price. I'm sure that he will be playing there for them as well. So he is a very good player. And there are few others also because who got Pavan Ratnayaka, unfortunately, like no longer a domestic player. He got debuted, and he has a really good chance of coming. And there are few other boys who are doing really well. So there is enough talent. The problem is how are we managing?
The last segment of ours with a quick cricket quiz. Let's see how much
My
of
God.
2025 you have watched. So probably we'll go with 3 questions, and let's see
Sure.
what comes out with it. So the first
Right.
question: who scored 163 in the only women's test in 2025 Ashes match in Melbourne is the clue.
Uh, I have two choices, but Ashes match in Melbourne. I'm just guessing it. It should be either. Can I go with Eliza Healy because she has the capability of scoring that? Or the
You'd be
England side,
surprised. You'd be
yeah,
surprised.
this is
It
it.
was Annabel Sutherland who scored 163,
Oh,
and
okay.
England was swept in the multi format. And Annabel Sutherland scored 163 runs in that Test match.
Right. She was really she was a star in the last World Cup as well. I have seen her play.
Yes,
So yeah,
absolutely. Okay, let's
she
go to
and
the next question. This should be a full
hmm,
toss. Who hit the only
okay.
triple century in 2025? And the clue is against Zimbabwe.
Only this is it Vivan Mulder?
That's it.
Okay,
Yes, the
okay.
controversial declaration without chasing the
Yeah,
Lara 400.
Lara
Yeah.
century or record or something like that. I mean, at the end of the day, I would give it to his decision. If he want to break it, let him go and break it. If he doesn't want, he doesn't want. He doesn't want either.
Yes, he ended up in 367.
Yeah,
367.
and he declared. Yeah, sorry, he
Yep.
declared.
All right. Let's do the third one. This will be slightly tricky, but let's see. Playing his first test in more than 2 years, who captained
Okay,
West Indies in their home series against Australia?
after 2 years playing these days, their normal designated captain can't be. Is it Kema Roach?
It is Roston Chase, who
Oh
didn't
my God,
play
that's
for about, yeah, I think West Indies played
he didn't.
49 test matches before they surprisingly recalled him in 2025.
My God, so I thought he's a designated test player. He's very classy and really do that. I mean, I know that Shy Hope is also good, but like Austin Chase is like it's
That's
surprising
right.
for me too.
That's
Surprising
right.
for me too.
Yeah. So look, the bonus question, last one, I promise. Uh,
Okay,
West Indies,
make it easy.
West Indies avoided a lowest ever total in 2025 when they were shot out for 27 by Australia and Kingston. Which team was once all out for 26 in Test cricket?
Is it Pakistan against Australia in Sharjah? That series which happened in Sri Lanka and then the other two was
Let me give you a clue. It's your
okay.
second team.
Oh God. There are certain things which I don't want to remember. Is it against South Africa?
It
Is
is
it
it
against
is New
South
Zealand,
Africa?
unfortunately. Yeah, it is New Zealand,
Okay,
unfortunately, all out for 26 versus England. This is way back in 1955. And that still is the
okay,
lowest
okay,
test score still,
okay.
unfortunately, on New Zealand's name still.
Right, okay. Well, that was like in 1995. I didn't even start watching cricket long time ago. Okay. But like
That
they
is
had
correct.
that was 40 odd right in Newlands when I think McCallum took over the captaincy the very first match they played and they had a horrible outing. I think 40 or 50 all out in
That's
Newlands.
correct.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yes.
I was that was in back of my mind. So then I thought like how low that was like in those worst records I hardly keep it in my mind. I just really like let them
Rightly
go.
so.
Good stuff I have.
Rightly so, yes. Listen, we can go on and go on. We really enjoy talking to you, but 1996 Sri Lanka win just wasn't a win. It was a fantastic statement to the cricketing community. A reminder that, out of the blue, unconventional cricket can, fetch big results. Big kudos to the Sri Lankan cricket team, Indoosan, and unforgettable moments for the fans like yourselves. But and thank you. I must mention that the Sri Lankan jersey which I'm wearing right now was gifted by Indoosan. from our 2026 World Cup. So I really appreciate the gesture. Next time we meet, I'll probably get you a USA cricket jersey, not the India one.
Yeah,
I'm sure
please.
India one is common, but until next
No, I
time,
already
Hindustan,
got
thank
an
you. Go
I
ahead.
got an India team. I got an India team jersey, and he was one of the few people who helped me to get the match ticket for India versus Pakistan. That win because that was a dream for me to go and watch it as a neutral fan. What's happening there? Even though, I have a lot of Indian fans, so I actually sat with them and I saw that so many goosebump moments to me because because 40,000 of your countrymen singing the national anthem, and the way that the cheers when it was the entire Premadasa stadium was roaring. Some fantastic memories. And thank you so much. I'm a big Netra Walker fan, to be precisely, because I went and watched the Pakistan versus US match as well. So yeah, sure. For cricket team jerseys, yeah. So I'm all up to. I got an Indian cricket team jersey from my friend as well. So these are the gifts that I will cherish forever. Thanks.
Okay. Noted on the Netra Walker. I'll try and either get you a Major League Cricket or USA Cricket jersey, but one of it for sure
No,
very soon.
thanks.
Yes. Excellent. Indoosan, thanks again for your
Thanks.
time. As usual, very down to earth and humble person. Love, enjoy chatting with you, and very privileged to know you. So, for many more to come, congratulations, Sri Lanka, for the 30th anniversary of a fantastic win, which Australians will never forget, Indians will never forget. So, I'm sure we will find another topic to get you back as an excuse onto our
Sure.
pod. Thank you, Indoosan, for your
Sure.
time. And for folks who are
Thanks.
watching, find Indoosan on X, Twitter, etc. He's very, very active. And thanks for supporting us and following us. And see you next time, Indoosan.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.